Seeing with love begins in the quiet place within us. It begins the moment we dare to look at the world, not as a battlefield to survive, but as a garden still learning how to grow. Every heart we meet carries a hidden story. Every person, no matter how strong they appear, is searching for gentleness. And perhaps the greatest wisdom we can learn in this life is how to see with eyes that do not rush to judge, but instead pause long enough to understand. We live in a world that teaches us to look quickly, to scroll, to decide before we reflect, to measure others by what they offer, how much they achieve, or whether they agree with us. Yet love does not hurry. Love does not demand perfection. Love sees the rawness of a soul and calls it worthy. To see with love is to remember that every life is fragile. Even the loudest person you know may be crying in places you cannot hear. Even the one who appears to have everything may carry a wound that has never healed. When we see others only from the outside, we miss the truth that matters most. And when we harden ourselves because the world feels cold, we forget that the warmth we long for begins inside of us. There is a kind of vision that belongs not to the eyes, but to the heart. It notices things that are easy to overlook. The trembling in someone's voice, the small act of bravery hidden in their smile, the exhaustion that a person tries to hide because they don't want to be a burden. When we learn to see these quiet details, compassion awakens. Our hearts grow softer, our judgments fade, and slowly, the world becomes less frightening. Sometimes we believe love must be grand to be real. We imagine that to help others, we must do something enormous. But love often begins in the smallest gestures. A pause instead of a complaint, a listening ear, a hand reaching out without expecting anything in return. These simple acts are seeds. We plant them one by one, and in time, they grow into a place where kindness can take root. To see with love is also to look inward with mercy. Many of us carry the weight of our own mistakes. We replay the things we should have said differently. We judge ourselves for the paths we did not take. We hold on to shame as if punishment could somehow change the past. But love reminds us that imperfection is not a failure. It is the way we learn. It is the way we become human. You do not need to earn the right to be loved. You simply need to accept that you belong in this world, not because of what you've achieved, but because you exist. Every heartbeat is a reminder that you are here for a purpose, to grow, to give, to reflect something good that no one else can offer. When we learn to see ourselves with love, we gradually become more capable of offering love to others. A generous heart does not grow out of superiority. It grows from humility, from knowing how much we have needed patience and compassion ourselves. Think of the people who have helped shape your life, not the ones who impressed you with status or strength, but the ones who stayed beside you when you felt like you were falling apart. The ones who listened, the ones who told you that you mattered when you doubted it. They were seeing you with love. They were noticing the beauty in you, beauty you may not have even recognized. Seeing with love does not require agreement. It does not require that we share the same beliefs or backgrounds. Love can look across mountains of difference and still choose connection. It understands that beneath all the labels we cling to, nationality, success, failure, politics, we are simply people trying to find our way. We are souls longing to be understood. There will always be reasons to close our hearts. Someone will disappoint us. Someone will betray us. Someone will speak without thinking and leave a wound behind. But love challenges us to look beyond the hurt and ask what pain may have caused their action. It asks us not to excuse wrongdoing or pretend that everything is fine. Love asks us to remember that healing does not come from retaliation. It comes from compassion. It comes from refusing to let bitterness decide the fate of our hearts. To see with love is to meet anger with patience, to respond to cruelty with dignity, to choose to be gentle in a world that rewards hardness. It is not weakness. It is courage, the kind of courage that builds bridges where others would build walls. There are times when loving others feels impossible, moments when we are tired, overwhelmed, and tempted to withdraw from the world entirely. But even then, love whispers that we are not meant to journey alone. We need one another. We need the closeness of human presence, the comfort of being seen and valued. And we also need the chance to give that gift to others, because something inside us awakens when we do. Love helps us see that no one is undeserving. No one is too far gone. Every person has a flicker of goodness inside, sometimes buried under years of fear or disappointment, but still there, waiting for light. Love chooses to believe in that light. It chooses to speak to the best in people, not the worst. In nature, every creature is learning how to survive. The tree stretching toward the sun, the bird learning how to fly, the river carving its way through rock. We do not judge them. We simply observe their persistence, their beauty in becoming. People, too, are learning. We are all growing through seasons of warmth and seasons of cold. When we see someone in their winter, let us not forget that spring is hidden inside them. Think of the sunrise. It does not force the world awake. It arrives slowly, gently, even for those who have forgotten that morning always comes. Love is like this. It brings light without demanding attention. It warms even the coldest corners of the soul. And if you stand still long enough, if you allow yourself to notice, you will see that love is never far away. It is there in every act of goodness, every moment of patience, every bit of hope that refuses to give up. To see with love is to look at a stranger and recognize a neighbor, to notice the humanity in someone who thinks differently from you, to choose curiosity instead of fear. It is allowing the heart to lead the eyes. We sometimes believe that love asks too much, that to care deeply is to open ourselves to heartbreak. But the truth is the opposite. What hurts most is not loving, but withholding love. Every time we build a wall inside ourselves, a part of us grows smaller. The heart was created to expand. It was created to pour itself out. When we give love, freely, without calculation, we become fully alive. There is someone in your life today who needs to be seen with love. It could be a family member who hides their sadness behind angry words. It could be a friend who laughs loudly to cover insecurity. It could be a stranger who looks distant but longs for connection. And yes, it could even be you. Do not underestimate the power of a gentle gaze. When you look at someone with love, you invite them to believe they are worth looking at. When you listen with love, you help heal wounds that have no other cure. Love may not solve every problem, but it changes the space where solutions can grow. Sometimes seeing with love means stepping back, giving space when needed, or allowing time to soften edges. Love does not control. It does not cling. It allows freedom to flourish. It trusts that what is real will remain. It believes that every soul must find its way at its own pace. Learn to see with love even when life feels dark, especially then. For love is the light that guides us through confusion. It reveals goodness where others see only flaws. It reminds us that we are connected, that every act of kindness ripples beyond what the eye can measure. Love listens not to reply, but to understand. It sees not to criticize, but to appreciate. It opens doors others have locked. It chooses peace over pride. And in doing so, it transforms the one who offers it just as much as the one who receives it. To see with love is to look at the world and believe that healing is possible, that peace is possible, that we are capable of more than we think. It is the beginning of every meaningful change. Without love, our vision is shallow. But with love, everything becomes deeper, clearer, truer. Look around you. There is beauty in the ordinary. There is grace in the imperfections. There is goodness waiting to be recognized. Love teaches us to slow down, to breathe, to appreciate each moment as a gift that will not come again. When you wake tomorrow, try this. Before the day rushes in, sit quietly for a moment. Recall one thing you are grateful for. Think of one person you can treat more kindly. Set one intention to see with softer eyes. These small practices shape the heart. They help retrain the way we see the world. And when you find yourself frustrated or impatient, remember this. The person in front of you is living a life you know nothing about. They may be carrying a burden heavier than they can show. When in doubt, choose compassion. Choose understanding. Choose love. There will be times you fail, times you speak harshly or close your heart without meaning to. Do not despair. Simply begin again. Love is not a skill to master once. It is a lifelong learning. And every day offers a new lesson. Imagine a world where we all saw with love, where no one felt invisible, where mistakes became opportunities for growth rather than reasons for rejection, where forgiveness was offered not reluctantly, but joyfully, because we understood our shared humanity. This world is not a fantasy. It begins with simple choices. It begins when one person decides to see differently, when one heart chooses generosity over fear. That person can be you. You can be the eyes through which someone else discovers their worth. You can be the voice that speaks gently when others speak harshly. You can be the presence that turns loneliness into connection. Your love can be the sunrise in someone's darkness. Seeing with love does not require power, wealth, or brilliance. It requires willingness. It requires patience. It requires the courage to remain tender in a world that often celebrates indifference. If you remember only one thing, let it be this. Love is not something rare that must be found. It is something abundant that must be offered. It flows best when it flows freely. And the more we give, the more we discover we have. May your eyes learn to notice the hidden goodness around you, the slow miracles, the quiet victories, the stories unfolding in every soul you encounter. May your heart stay open, even when life is difficult, even when understanding feels impossible, even when you are tired of trying. May you see others with the same tenderness you hope they will see in you. May you find peace in knowing that love, given sincerely, is never wasted. And may you discover, again and again, that to see with love is to finally see the truth, that we belong to one another, that we are meant for compassion, and that the world becomes brighter each time a heart chooses to look with kindness instead of fear.